What is up, my Little Deinos? Vepsis, your coach of the Helsinki Hydreigons, and we are here for the UBL Season 6 Week 2 battle when we go up against Dr. Slaking and his new team name called Forest Green Snovers. And he is a coach that, besides myself, I would consider that has been most successful coach in a recent memory in UBL. He doesn't have championships to show for it because past 2 seasons we have faced in semifinals. And fortunately enough for me, when I've been back-to-back champions, it's also meant that I've been able to beat him. But it's never been easy to go up against him. I do rank him as one of the best coaches in the league and toughest competition. And even though he's maybe a little bit still rusty, even though he had a very solid win out of week 1 versus Under the Radar as a 1-0 win, I still consider that as a very respectful start for himself to have. And even outside of his rustiness and having a quote-unquote Gen 4 OU and /UU team, it's still very threatening to go up against him because I know how good he can be in this game once he's on top of things, and I expect him to be in this matchup. And his roster, while it's a meme team, it can be still very threatening, and it's actually pretty good versus myself, at least from my point of view. So I have to watch out for that. Now we're gonna be going very briefly my team, and then we jump into the action. So we are bringing physical defensive, Colbo very slow pro, very self-explained why it's there. It's very bulky water types are very good versus my opponent, and it's also somewhat necessary for things like Fly Calm, Blaziken, and Azumarill, that why I have to bring it. And also for Swampert. Then we are bringing like a somewhat defensive Vikavolt, but it's still able to do good damage versus my opponent with Dual Stab, with Discharge, Spark Pass. Then we have Mud Shot for the Magnezone and Roost for longevity. This is there to be able to take certain hits, like for Magnezone and non-Choice Bandit and Dusknoir as well, while at the same time doing good damage versus my opponent. And with its Dual Stab and Mud Shot, I basically hit everything neutral, if not super effectively, which is pretty nice for me to go into this. And then we are bringing a Choice Scarf Landorus, which I opted to make Choice Scarf because I wanted to have another form of speed control outside of my Talonflame. And we also have Earthquake, Knockoff, U-Turn and Defog. Defog is there just in case if it brings Aurora Well with the Abomasnow, and if I see something like a Azumarill or something else as a very threatening setup sweeper, I can get that Defog off if I have to. And I can also get rid of the hazards from my Slowbro. You're gonna be noticing I have a lot of heavy duty boots on my team, and I kinda want to make sure that I don't have to defog in this matchup, and certain things can live hits a lot easier when they're not taking spikes damage. Because I do expect if this Camry comes, it's 100% gonna be having spikes. I know how much my opponent likes to using them in draft league format, so if they come, I want to make sure that they don't affect me almost at all with my team. Only Slowbro will be affected by them, and off the chance he gets too many layers of them up and I need my Slowbro around, I slap the defog there. Then we are going to be having 4 attacks, heavy duty boots, GOODRA with GUI ability. We are running Dragon Pulse, Thunderbolt, Power Whip and Super Power. That hits pretty much this entire team with a good neutral damage, if not super effective damage. Super Power and Power Whip are there to take advantage of the quad weaknesses that Tyranitar and Swampert have, which both I do see coming into the game. Most importantly, this is there to also be a failsafe versus our Azumarill if it's a belly drum set. But I need to also have it just a little bit weakened, and also most importantly the Aurora Well cannot be up, which is why we have defog on the Landers in itself. Then we are running a mixed defensive resist here with Iron Defense, Body Presence, Rest and Sleep Talk. This thing, I had a lot of different moves that I could have put on it, but I opted to put the set that can also win the game in a right scenario, and depending on the team of 6 that he brings. I have to watch out for trick mons that he could have to cripple me, like the Latias in itself, if I need to see it as a winning condition. But outside of that, it's also nice pivot around the T-Tar in itself, and I made it clear body over Light Metal, even though I just faced the T-Tar in another league, and he happened to run low kick for my resist still. But I kinda expect my opponent not to do that, and I want to have clear body because I'm running Iron Defense, so the liquidation, so the crunch is coming from T-Tar, and Azumarill won't be having that 20% chance of lowering my defense, and I'm kinda using this thing potentially to pivot around them. So that's why we have the ability as we do. And then we are running like a mix attacker, more so physically oriented Talonflame with Brave Bird, U-Turn, Flamethrower and Roost, and we are running Flame Body because he has a Sand and Hail option, most importantly the Sand that I expect to come, so there's no reason to put Gale Wings on it, because it's most likely going to be affected by that, and I'm not gonna be at full health with it. And then we're gonna be having Flamethrower over Flare Bits just to be able to hit the Scummery harder, and I won't be taking as much recoil along with it, especially if it's gonna be having Rocky Helmet intact on it. So we made it a mixed attacker in that regard, but U-turn and Brave Bird are pretty nice, and his flying resist are both weak to fire except the Tyranitar, which I can U-turn out in itself. So it's still a very good Mon versus him, and that is going to be the team of 6 I'm bringing. I wanted to have more time to spend on it, and this has been an extended battle, but something that I've been kind of mentioning on my other videos, and I'll probably have an update video coming sooner than later, if not before this goes up. My work has been pretty hectic for me, and it's gonna be getting hectic from here on out. So I'm kind of hoping that once I get things settled down, I made the right decisions for myself when it comes to Draft League, and I can start committing into UBL solely at this point on, and try to then manage my work life. So hopefully we can just get a W here regardless of how I feel about my preparation. I think it's good, but I wish I had just a little bit more time and effort to put into it. But I think it's still solid, and hopefully it's gonna be good enough to beat Dr. Slaking. But now let's go and see how the battle is gonna be turning out. Alright, here we are with the battle with Dr. Slaking, and let's see what he brings. Hopefully I don't see something that I'm a little bit underprepared for with this team. But let's see. Okay, we do see the Abomasnow, we see Blaziken, Latias, Flygon, Tyranitar, and Swampert. No! Azumarill. That is interesting. I'm really glad, but damn. Okay, GOODRA can then function as a breaker in this game, because with its coverage it can hit the Tyranitar and Swampert right from the get-go pretty hard. It makes me consider actually leading with it now looking at it, because like he doesn't deal with it all too well. And I feel like he values his Stealth Rocks. No Scum, none of his steel types came in either. I think I'll lead with my GOODRA, because I can utilize it as a breaker, and it gives me a pretty good matchup versus this one, but I can just go for the Power Whip. I hit it hard turn 1. And I could see him leading with that thing just to get up his Stealth Rocks up right from the get-go. My Resisteel set can also kinda win on its own, as long as I get around the Latias' potential trick that he has. Blaziken I have to watch out for if it's gonna be any kind of funky set to surprise the Slowbro. The Flygon could be also a little bit a surprise factor. The pure physical set kind of seems kind of weak versus me unless it's banded. So we'll see. Good luck and have fun to Dr. Slaking. Usually we have a really fun battles and one of my closest and most fun games throughout the UBL season. So he does lead with this Swampert, as I lead with my GOODRA. Right away I want to Power Whip this thing and punish him for going for Stealth Rocks. So that's what we are gonna be doing. It should be doing a lot to this thing, and if he's especially defensive for whatever reason, it can actually OHKO it. Or it should be OHKOing it, unless he has some physical bulk on it. We do go for the Power Whip and we landed. Let's see how much this is gonna be doing. Oh, that did good amount of damage. I like that turn 1. He gets up his rocks, but I have a lot of heavy duty boots on my team, so I don't mind this at all, and he is leftovers. We're just gonna be leaving him at under 20%, so I'm pretty sure Dragon Pulse should kill you off. So I'll go for that. Not risking a potential miss. This should kill. But that's a very nice turn 1, because that opened up my Talonflame right away. And my Landorus, because Landorus, he has a couple of ground immunities, but they aren't great switchings to Landorus regardless if I click something like knockoff or U-turn. But this turn 1 was pretty nice for me. It probably caught him quite off guard when I went for that. But that was very good turn for me. He got what he wanted out of turn 1 with the Stealth Rocks, but thankfully with Azumarill not being there, it meant that I had a very nice opportunity to use this thing as a breaker. He does preserve this. Who do you go into? Barney. The Tyranitar. Oh, let's see how much you take, because I have superpower as well, just for you. This could be a Southwest for the Porygon Sea. And I'm gonna be looking at this damage very carefully to see. That did like below 20%. Let's see my GOODRA. That is very specially defensive or assault vest, so superpower in all intents and purposes should be killing it here. But it could also miss out from it, so I kinda wanna preserve this. Let me check. It's 75, 80, 85. No, that should kill. Let me go for the superpower and try to knock this thing out. Alright, it's not Chopoberry, please GOODRA, just kill this thing, thank you GOODRA! Holy shit, this GOODRA is coming through, man, it's really messing up my opponent, but now Swampert is basically dead. And fucking Tyranitar being gone is... Oh my god, GOODRA! We are like, I believe I made this thing like Grass Nature, max special attack, then I have decent amount of physical attack as well, and I spec creep quite a few things. So this thing is like purely offensive, but heavy duty boost, it was my fail-safe for Azumarill. And I had a good feeling about this set when I made it. Like some of my other sets I'm like not confident that they were the best ones, but this one I was like really confident that this one is the kicker, man. But he does go into the Flygon. My best scout for this I think will be Slowbro. And I'll go to it first to see what kind of thing this is. But Jesus. GOODRA putting the work turn 1. Hopefully we can keep up this things going in our way. But this Flygon is interesting. Draco Meteor, do not be Specs. Don't be Specs, please. That looks to be Specs. Okay. Oh, it's Life Orb. Alright, good to know. So this was your surprise factor for me. At this point I think I wanna go into my Landorus so I don't give the Blaziken a free come in. Cause I could go into Resistive knowing that it's lowered its special attack. So if he's fully orientated to special, I would take the Earth Power Well, but I still don't know if he's like Earthquake as well. But yeah, I have to preserve the Slowbro for that. I'll go into Landorus. I have to take this potential Draco Meteor, but it's gonna be at -2. But he does go for the U-turn, so I will take a little bit less from this. And he will be won off by the Life Orb. So he was able to kind of utilize his own jacket versus me to be a little bit scarier factor. But now I think the Abomasnow would come in. Which means that I would just go into Resistive and probably just Iron Defense and Body Press. There comes the Abomasnow. I could be very risky and try to get a strong U-turn off, but this thing is one of my best winning conditions, so I would feel dumb to just stay in and let him have this. So like I assume he will expect me to not stay in. But he did stay in himself. He probably goes for a Veil, if I would guess. No, he just goes for the Blizzard right away, okay. That didn't do all too much. He will notice that I'm heavy duty boots with this thing, which is kind of funny. But here I think I'll just go for the Body Press. Because he might be sacking the Swampert here. And it hits what is in front of me as well. He does go for the Focus Blast and he misses. That is unfortunate for him. And I got some good damage on this. Now I'm curious if he is like Expert Belt on this. And he has Focus Blast. Versus my Resistive. How much are you actually doing with this? You would do 50% if you're like something else other than Expert Belt, and Expert Belt would do 60% at max. Okay, that's good to know. What kind of speed does this thing have? It's base 60, so my other guys won't be able to outpace it. I think what I'll do is that I'll stay in. Try to get my rest off afterwards. I don't think I want to risk any of my other guys here. But I'll just go for the body press again. He does withdraw, okay. Rose, I'm pretty sure that's the Swampert, so I would like to think I'll take care of you. Like, I'm bold nature, so I have some... Yeah, there we go. My body press is not that weak, even without a setup. So, Swampert is dead. So, we are up 6-4. But he still has that life for Flygon, which I kind of, like, figured that I saw it and Blaziken, so I should have, like, known that it's not gonna be, like, physical attacker necessary. It still could be, like, mix attacker. And there comes the Blaziken. This is where he could try to... There are a lot of things he could do here. I could go into my Talonflame. But he could easily knock me off here. Who is the most necessary here? Vikavolt does pretty decent still. This thing is necessary for Latias. I cannot risk this thing. Let's go to the Slowbro and see what he does. If Slowbro dies to it, it's fine. I can always go and offensively check this thing with Talonflame. But I'll make the obvious play for now and kind of figure out what this thing is. Close combat. Okay. Do we see anything from like Life Orb? We don't see Life Orb. So now, I'm curious if you're... Actually, I think it's always my best play to try to scout if you're knock off on this, but how do I want to scout that necessarily? I don't think I can. Maybe I should just rest here. Let's see if you're choiced or not. Your U-turn on it. That could kill me if it's Expert Belt. Okay. So I know that thing is not Scarfed. So now the Latias to me seems to be the Scarfer. Okay, that's good to know. But my Resisteel is definitely in a spot still to be able to win. It's unfortunate that I lost my Slowbro like that, but knowing that the Blaziken is not Scarf, I have at least things that can outpace it. I have Landers which guarantee already outpace it, especially with Scarf, but Talonflame can outpace it too. Now that he had like close combat U-turn, he could still have coverage for Talonflame, but maybe he relies on knocking it off and get the rocks up. He does go into this, which means that I can pretty freely go into my Talonflame, I think. Because he didn't have really good answers to that thing. So I go into Talonflame. And I can pretty much just Brave Bird here. Yeah, you had no switch-ins to this thing. I can Brave Bird for free. This is where this Swampert and Tyranitar being gone, and this is how the GOODRA kinda open up the window. Like, the fact that I lost my Slowbro sucks for that Blaziken, but the work that GOODRA was able to do prior to then, opening up the door for Talonflame, getting rid of this Swampert, which doesn't resist my Flying Stab, but it's naturally very bulky, so it kinda does, just based on that. And Tyranitar resisted my Dual Stab, and U-turn kinda bounces off from T-Tar, even like if it's a super effective if. So it was big what GOODRA was able to do early game. And it was really nice for me that he didn't have Azumarill in the back, so I could utilize GOODRA that way. Because otherwise I would have not led with it like I did. Because I didn't... At that point I didn't risk him to go for like Earthquake versus my GOODRA if he had the Azumarill in the back. But either way, we should be in a nice shape. I can Brave Bird here for free. He's gonna go for the Ice Shot. It will do decent damage, but not a whole lot. So with Brave Bird and the Health Chip, he will be able to chip me down. But this means that now I don't have to deal with this thing later on. Because it was able to hit quite a few things very hard, as long as the Focus Blast would be able to connect my Resisteel. So It's nice to be able to get rid of that thing, but now he gets the chance to bring something else out. Angels. That is the Larias, so this is probably gonna be Scarf. I could use something like a Vikavolt as a pivot, because I don't need it for a whole lot of things. And GOODRA is nice to keep at full health, because it can still take a hit from that place again. I think I use Vikavolt as a pivot, just to see if his choice, like, trying to trick me. Or even if he kinda kills my... Even if he kills my Resistil, I can pivot from there. Mystical Fire. Is that Specs damage? That did quite a bit, that might be Specs. And if this thing is Specs... Talonflame is a very good shape to clean this game up. Yeah, I'm like at 62 now, so that's no way, shape or form. No, actually he could still be... I think Specs would have done more. Yeah, Specs would have done more, so that's definitely looking to be Choice Scarf then. That's definitely looking to be Choice Scarf, but I think I'm okay letting this thing go down. And just Bug Pass. He does go for this, but this means that I'm pretty sure I can go into Landorus just to U-turn, because my Landorus is Scarf. So I would take the Mystical Fire just fine. And he's been chipped down to the point that U-turn would do quite a bit to it. I could even go for a knockoff. I'm at 125. Yeah, I can take one hit for sure then, so I'll go into Landorus. But now I'm debating that, is it my best interest to U-turn, or is my best interest to lock myself into knockoff? I think U-turn is my best bet, because Talonflame is in a good shape to win. Hopefully I didn't make a misplay here, like thinking that, or committed that his Choice Scarf with this. So, cause technically I could have maybe also gone into Resistil here, that could have been the other play that I could have done here. But let's see. I do still have Talonflame, like if he stays in and let this thing go down, Talonflame outpaces the last two, so I still wanna say that I can take care of the game from there. He's not Choice Scarf with it, he is a bug reducing berry. Okay. So he's gonna be probably going for Draco or something, which means that I can go into Resistil. Okay. Landorus is still in a good shot. So Landorus or Talonflame can clean up the game. And one of the other things can be expendable. Okay, he's recover on it. How much are you doing to my Resistil? Since you're not boosting item. That would be bouncing off from me. So I'll go for the Iron Defense. Because with Iron Defense I can start forcing to get a kill, like even Blaziken or Flygon if they come in. Flygon will have to be Earth Power in order to do any kind of damage to me. And Blaziken will have to be Fire Blast or Overhit. And knowing that you're not Specs, you're not boosting item, the Mystical Fire will do like 33% at most, unless you're modest. He does withdraw immediately. There's the Flygon. Now if you're like... If you're like... Life Orb... Timid... Earth Power versus my Resistil. It would be doing 62%, so 117. I am outside the range of that. Do I want to make that call? I think I'll stay in and get rid of this thing. Let's go for the body press. He has Earthquake on it. Okay, best case scenario. He was an Earth Power. Okay. So I'm able to force one more kill. And now just the Blaziken and the Latias remain alive. I wonder how much Blaziken does to me if he's expert belt. While I'm at +2. He would do 82 to me the most. There's no really point of, I think, preserving this. Because I'm pretty sure I get too close to being a range of Latias. I don't think there is, right? I think I should be in a fine shape. He would have to be expert build, I think, to kill me. Or he's gonna be Okay, he's overhit. That's fine. Because Talonflame gets to come in and pretty much Brave Bird here. So I'll just go into Talonflame and Brave Bird. The only thing that Resistil could be sucking that I let it go down so early is that if that Latias is too bulky for me to kill. But I wanna say I can still manage it. But we Brave Bird here. Yeah, I think that would be the only case scenario where letting go Resistil so early would be sucking. So hopefully it's not a joke. But like my Talonflame will be doing a lot to it. And I saw that it did a lot of damage with the Mystical Fire. So I feel like it would not be like max HP, max special type. Like it would seem a little bit odd to be able to afford all that. Hopefully this is not like Focus Sash. Alright, we took care of that thing. That's good for me. So now it's just the Latias left. At this point I think I'll go for the Ruse just to see what he does there. Because I feel like Calm Minding shouldn't save him anymore. So I go for the Ruse just to see his last attacking move. Or last attacking moves, I should say. And the GOODRA can still kind of dent this thing hard, if I need to. But I know he should not be able to afford to be max HP. The only thing I feel like, outside of the fact that this Latias would be really a Noxus set that I overlooked, that I can lose to his timer, but I think I'm still ahead of timer. Okay, he does go for the recover, which is fine. Now I think I'll go for the Brave Bird. The timer is on my side, so I don't think he can really play around this game of like try to stall me out. Yeah, that does about half. And he does Draco Meteor, meaning that my GOODRA can finish up this game. Or my Landorus. If it's like around half and I go into my Landorus, this Latias should die, right? Yeah, it dies to U-turn. So I'm pretty sure I can go into my Landorus and finish it off with a U-turn. Just to double check. Yeah, it should do enough. Let's go into Landorus, click U-turn, and that should be it for that. Right? Like that did about half, like it should tell me that it should not be able to live this U-turn. So, there we go. The last thing I could have lost to was some sort of misclick, so let's just make sure we click the right move. And I wanna say this is good game and we can finally Well, finally, it's only week 2, but we can be in the winning side of things, and there we go. 2-0 win for us. Good game to Dr. Slaking. Very close game. I think for me, the big difference of getting ahead of this game was clearly the GOODRA. That GOODRA gave me such a big lead. While he was able to navigate that with the Life Orb, special Flygon or mixed Flygon, which I kind of call it to be, but I wasn't confident enough to risk my Resisteel at that point. Like in a hindsight, I could have gone into that if I felt more confident in that play. And if I felt it was like if Resisteel was more expendable, but the Resisteel was still nice to keep around for the Latias until I knew this set. And at the late game, Resisteel still forced a kill, so it was good to keep it around, and Slowbro didn't prove to be that impactful in the end. So, good game to Dr. Slaking. Both of us are now 1-1. He will be ahead of me in the standings because of the differential, I think. No, we're gonna be tied with the differential, so I'm gonna be jumping ahead based on the head-to-head, so I can get ahead of him and maybe now be in a top 7, which we need to be in order to make the playoffs. So that's good for us. Next week will be versus Irish Emerald, who has been really shit-talking ever since he joined the league. So hopefully now with few spare days for me to prepare for it, I can find the time to really showcase why we are the defending champions. But either way, this win was really a relief for me. I was worried about that I go 0-2 right from the get-go because I didn't feel like I spent enough time for this, but prepping-wise. But it worked out. Thank you, GOODRA. You really saved our assets here to make sure that we get the W with that early lead that we got. But until week 3 versus Irish Emerald, thank you for watching. I'm gonna see you guys later.